excited for opening night? Does Coach get butterflies or nerves at all on opening night?
I don't know, maybe a little, anxiety. Not the unknown. Going into a season, it all starts fresh. So yeah.
Is there a little more of that this season just because you have so many new players? Or?
No. I think just starting the season, it's just getting ready to go.
Do you feel like you guys are starting from a different point because of all the new players you have, or do you feel like in preseason you've built to the point you need to be?
I think I'm pleased with where we are, given all the new players. But we're not where we were last year at this time because of all the continuity we had over the last 2 or 3 years. But given our roster, I'm pleased with where we are.
What have you liked most up to this point, the way things have gone? What have you liked most in camp and preseason or whatever?
I think we've had a good camp. The preseason games, I was pleased with the last 2 games against Utah and Denver. I thought we played well in both those games. We've had good practices. It's been disappointing that Powell wasn't able to practice with us, but other than that, it was just a good camp. We got done what we needed to get done. I think the progress that we made at both ends of the floor has been kind of what we were looking for.
Damien labeled Scal as MVP camp.
A what? As a
MVP.
MVP?
Yeah.
I've said it a few times. He's really had a good camp. And because Powell's been out, he's going to have an opportunity to get on the floor because he's earned it. He's played well. He and Zach have paired up together. You've seen that in some preseason games. I think he's been probably a little bit more aggressive, more competitive in his nature, which it's been good.
Everybody ready to go except Powell and Nurk?
Yes.
How do you feel like the team's come together defensively? Obviously, that was something you pointed to, wanting to be a top 10 defensive team.
Oh, we'll find out. I thought defensively we were decent against Utah. Denver was okay. Obviously, the Phoenix game we gave up too many threes. So I think it's kind of hard to evaluate at this stage. Also, different teams pose different problems. I mean, Denver is one thing, Sacramento's going to be another, Dallas is going to be another. So we'll see how we adapt to each team.
With the talent level on defense, do you feel like you could have one of the better defensive teams in the league, though?
I think with our big guys, we'll have a deterrent in the paint. I think that's historically that's been a good indicator of good defense. We'll be challenged on the perimeter because there's so many good perimeter players in this league, but because of Zach and Hassan and Scal and Powell when he comes back, we have the ability to affect shots in the paint. So if we can limit threes, I think that bodes well.
As far as preparation goes, does it give you a slight advantage that you're preparing for almost an identical Denver team and they're having to prepare for a very new-looking Portland team as far as familiarity goes?
In a way, I'm not going to. I don't know how much, even though the roster's changed, I don't know how much we've changed as a team per se at this stage of the season. But certainly with the continuity that they've had, I don't know how much they'll change. So the thing I have to be aware of is that only half the team was in that Denver series for us. So even though it's for Dame and CJ and the coaches and Zach, the guys who played in that series, Rodney, there's that familiarity. But for everybody else, it's still pretty new.
So you feel like you have to almost prepare half the guys differently than the other half?
No, it's just not you can't take anything for granted. Just, you have to start assuming that you're starting from zero with everybody.
I think you said last week you were hoping to use this practice time. One thing you want to do is get some sets in for Mario at the point forward. Is that something that we should expect to see in the season?
I think that's going to continue. I don't want to overload them with new things, but yeah, that's going to be part of our offense.
Coach, what do you remember, or what stands out the most to you about CJ in Game 7 last year?
CJ's Game 7? Well, two things: the big shots and the chase down block. I mean, those were two of the bigger plays of the game. But in particular, those would be the two things.
The last time out when you set up the play, the clear out for him, kind of maybe Describe your thought process in that huddle.
There wasn't much thought process. It was he had it going, and he's going to get the ball. It was.
But he said maybe you were considering a ball screen, and he said no.
Yeah. That's the risk you run. You want Dame or CJ to have the ball, and the risk is that if you run a ball screen, that they can trap it, and then sometimes that works out, sometimes not. And if a guy has a matchup that you like or at least you have a good feeling that they're going to get a quality shot off.
And historically, they are a heavy trapping team, correct?
Well, against us, they have been. And I would say more so in the playoffs. Teams when they have a chance to really prepare for one team. You going back to New Orleans and then Denver and things like that. I think there's more of that in the playoffs than the regular season.
I asked Dame and CJ, are you sick of playing this Denver team at this point, since you've seen them so many times over the last few months?
Not really. I mean, the two preseason games were, the first one Jokic didn't play and our guys didn't play that much, and then the last game Dame and CJ didn't play. So, in some ways, it's been a kind of makes our preparation for game one a little bit easier because we've kind of seen each other, but it made it probably easier for both teams.
I know you've always understood and realized just how good CJ is. Do you see that Game 7, though, as a kind of a defining moment for him?
It could be. We'll see how those defining moments usually are defined in the future. So as of now, yeah. But I'm sure that he in particular will look back on that game. But I don't know. It's probably an iconic game for him, but I don't know if it's necessarily a turning point for him.
What do you have to be mindful of guarding Jokic?
Everything. His shooting, his passing, his driving. He draws fouls. Getting him out. He's effective in the paint. I mean, he's one of those guys that he's a very willing passer, and if you try and get the ball out of his hands, he'll make you pay for that. But I mean, those are the things. His offensive rebounding, he's long, he's a load in the paint where he's hard to move. So it's a little bit of everything.